we've been doing a huge focus on pilot gameplay. We've been talking about different pilot abilities, we've been going over different pilot weapons. And kind of as an afterthought, we start talking about Titans because since what I play is Attrition, I'm naturally always transitioning from pilot gameplay to Titan gameplay. So today what we're going to be focusing on is the second part of that transition, which is your Titan gameplay. And I think right now is a good time to talk about it because I've noticed a trend of seeing better Titan gameplay, even by just the fact that more people are playing it more campy, which is technically the right way to play a lot of these Titans, more so in the backfield. Because again, this isn't just a Titan on Titan fight, this is Titan on Titan fight versus pilots, versus minions, versus Reapers, versus unpredictable teams. Because Attrition just has it all, and it's going to probably give you the most variance that you're going to see in any playlist. So going forward, what I'm going to be talking to you guys about is just how to get the most out of your Titan and how to get the most out of your Attrition experience in general. Because I find that this is definitely the best game mode as long as you're able to make that transition. And that's why I know a lot of you guys are comfortable in PvP because everything just seems a lot easier. You don't have to take in as many things into account. But the beauty of Attrition is that it also allows for probably some of the best Titanfall moments because of all these things that you can take advantage of. And right now, if you're somebody that takes on Titans all the time, you are a goddamn hero, and I salute you. And I would consider this an honorable death. I know I put down a ton of damage and made a difference for the team. And it even makes a difference for you, so just do it for yourself because no one wants to be ganged up by Titans when you're as a pilot or as a Titan. Both those scenarios suck for you, so you have to take care of them. And the first thing about Titan fights, we're going to be getting into strategy now, is understanding that you can go in there with a plan, you can go in there with an opener, but after that, it's going to require some sort of like counter, you getting into the rhythm of things because fights are so long that you can't just go in there with one thought. You're going to need to adjust to what the other pilot is doing in his Titan. The pathing is going to be different in Titans, you're going to make different shots, but there is actually a lot of places for your Titan to get elevation, which is really nice. Another thing that's also kind of the same as your pilot gameplay is taking into account visual and audio cues like the splashing and the sound of his jump jet. Now, while some of the things that you're seeing right now are very specific to Ion, with like catching those bullets, like I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of damage in order to grab those rockets and then throw them back at his buddy and do more damage myself. There's a lot of ways for you guys to be opportunistic when you're playing your Titan. It's going to depend on what Titan you're playing, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples here. I'm actually going to use 3 different Titans, and I'm actually going to use what I believe to be the top 3 Titans. But even though I didn't use any Scourge, Monarch, obviously they have their place, and I would say they even have more so a place when you're playing Attrition under the right circumstances. Trying to determine what circumstances are going to be ideal is going to be up to you and what you assess on the battlefield. And that's how you really get hardcore in this game. It's when you're actually assessing the battlefield. That's something as little as just changing up your guns as a pilot to changing up what Titan you're going to use when you're using your Titan. You can even switch off some abilities if you think they're going to benefit you more than others. Usually there's almost a definitive kit for most Titans though, like they really don't have that much leeway. Like my Ion, I always use the extra dash. Some people think that overcore is meta. I'd have to say that when it comes to getting your core, yes, it's good, but with the Ion, I think that you need the mobility a lot more. The core can be dodged quite easily. You really have to watch for the opening to use your core if you want to get maximum damage and not just trade out as well, because when you start using that core, you're so vulnerable. You guys saw it in my last video. I traded out against a Legion using my core, and which is always a bad idea. You have to catch them on a reload. If not, it's not worth it. You're better off just using your other abilities to do damage against the Legion. I'm trying to think of something nice to say about Ronin. Alright, Arc Wave is awesome. But other than that, I had a couple of more Ronin clips, but they were all the same thing. I was running around with the shotgun. Pow, pow, pow. Chop, chop, chop. Slap, chop. Yeah, you can sell this Titan to anybody. Why? Because it's so efficient and it's so cheap. Wait, it gets better. Call in your Titan in the next 30 seconds and I'll throw an unlimited sword block 360 degrees for the lifetime of your Titan. So I don't think he's harder to use. That can't be the case because I barely use him and I perform better than with my main. Yeah, I find that this Titan just has a very low skill curve, especially when you're fighting, obviously, pilots. Just absolutely lethal. Yeah, I've had enough of this Titan. Let's forget about this. Honestly, I can't stand this Titan. I cannot stand you. Let's move on to the next Titan. And what this clip is about is just this really long fight against a Ronin that's just trying to be sneaky. And it can work, but you don't want it to, obviously. But my main point is that this is just kind of the way attrition is, and you're constantly kind of having to play your biggest threat because you can't counter everything. And sometimes if you go overboard on your counters, you're just stuck in the back of the level and you're not doing damage. I never mentioned this though, but when I was taking on that auto Titan, sometimes it's really easy, like let's just say you're a Ronin or something like that, or a North Star. It's really easy to just like lose all your health trying to kill an auto Titan, which usually in everybody's mind is like, oh, free kill, I'm working up my core, all that stuff. But you got to minimize that damage, and so you can't just like play them as easy as they seem, if not, because you don't want to lose health. The whole point of taking on an auto Titan is that you're going to do it and not lose health. And you saw how that auto Titan actually shot his canister kind of like a real player would. Most players, as soon as they reload it and you're in front of them, they're going to take that next shot. So usually you're open to blocking it or trying to grab it as an ion or dodging it whichever other way you can when you're using whatever Titan you're using. So right now we have a pilot, we have to get rid of him, and still focusing on spacing him. You don't want to just throw the mines, because all you're doing is giving him a free opportunity to also hit you, or for him to take out your mines because he hasn't used his arc wave or anything like that. And that's more specific. Is he going to take that damage? Has he forgotten about those? No, he hasn't. He's still playing the box. But that's pretty much it. He's burned up all his health. And he's trying to make approaches, which is good. But the thing is, he's hyper-focused on me. Like, being hyper-focused in attrition is just so bad for you, because there's so many other things going on that you could be losing out on easier kills. You could be losing out on support. And support is a big part. I try to, especially for the close games, I instantly start looking at my radar and being like, where are my Titans? Any close game, you just want to group up, and that's been the new meta now with Titans for a while, where people are looking to group up. That's when you know that you're going to be having a strong game, or you're going to be struggling based on what you see your teammates or the other teams doing in regards to how they're huddling their Titans. The swing that happens when people end up getting their Titans like for the second time or the third or fourth time is what wins games, because when you coordinate those drops, even if you're a few points behind, I find that's what ends up making the final push to the end of the game. And I've been doing this a lot lately. Like, I've been trying to have really close games, and then at the end trying to inch it out, and everybody starts playing differently when they see that the games are very close versus when the scores are everywhere and people are just like flying around and being very laxy with their Titans. But in real Titanfall, like, Titan fights make and break the games, and they're also a very different pace than the Titan fights. And as a pilot, you also have to slow down. You can't, like, yes, you're a pilot, you're speedy, and you want to get that damage off, but when you're fighting good pilots or good Titans, you're not going to have that opportunity as often as you think you will. That's how you just get shot a lot and just die a ton in attrition. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle going up against Titans. I think that's why a lot of people end up going into PvP, because it's just a lot easier. You don't have to worry about these Titans that are constantly one-shotting you, because that's what they do. And one-shots are frustrating if you're somebody that has it happen to you a ton. So my advice to you is slow down when you're taking on Titans. And that doesn't mean just head glitch all the time to take on them. I just mean slow down and just don't be reckless. Don't constantly shoot. And you're always poking the bear when you're taking on Titans as a pilot. So just make sure that you're being sneaky, fast, efficient, and making like the most out of your time that you're taking on Titans. Because sometimes you can just shoot a Titan, go do something else, kill a minion, look out for pilots, because as soon as you start focusing too much on Titans, you know that's when you're getting ganked by a pilot. This is another thing. All Titans can be a distraction. This is usually something that I say a lot about Ronin, but every Titan can be a distraction. Low health Titans are a huge distraction to the opposing team, because they're constantly trying to just finish them off. And that's a good time for your teammates to start doing some damage, or for you to just start wasting them time, which is what Ronins do. And you know what? I'm also guilty of it as an Ion. Putting up the Vortex shield buys me a lot of time. and that's how you can win some games or just kind of increase your damage output, because there's no point in being super defensive if you're not doing anything with it either, right? Like, I'm not just going to stand with my shield there and not do damage. That again is a waste of time. Like, just living isn't enough in a Titan fight. You have to be making a difference somewhere. If you're not putting on damage, you're at least trying to prevent damage from hitting your teammates or something like that. Right now we're doing something pretty good. Right now he's safe. I'm able to poke and shoot around that Legion's core, not take any damage. Like, there is ways to do a lot of counters in this game, and that's going to be up to you to kind of just figure out. But I know that one thing you're going to want to get used to if you're going to be playing a lot of attrition is getting good in your Titan. You have to get good at using your Titan and taking on Titans. Sometimes some fights are actually easier as a pilot than it is to get into your Titan, depending on which Titan you have. Like, if I see a bad matchup for my Titan, I'm going to prioritize that Titan before I get into my Titan as a pilot. That's just some ways that you can go about making your life a little bit easier when you're using your Titan. Obviously not dropping it when there's a good possibility that you're going to get ganged up on. That's too bad for my friend there. He took that rocket. He's going to take a second one, but he's getting a battery, so I think he'll be alright. Yeah, but you know what? That's pretty much. I just wanted you guys to be a little bit more aware of what happens in attrition, which, in my opinion, is mainly based around Titan fights. So if you want to have a good experience, definitely get good with your Titan. And that's the end of this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment. We're going to be picking this up. I'm not too sure where. I'm going to be working on a couple of old videos. They're going to be remakes with more so specific. So they're actually going to be straight up strategy guides. Just remade for 2020 and more so just remade more accurately, as well as with a little bit more knowledge, because I obviously know a little bit more about this game than I did then. So we're going to probably redo one of our movement guides, and then I'm also going to redo the shadow mechanics episode if anybody remembers that one. Alright guys, again, thank you all for joining me. Paper, cut to you, and I'll see you all next time.
Utterly devastating. Nice work, pilot.